It is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. This is our monthly Global Chamber Africa conversation. It's one that covers a variety of topics across Africa. We have other events, including, I believe, the Accra event next week is one that is happening. And it looks very interesting because it's the topic of business and immigration and the impact. Earlier this month, we had a two-part investment series, and I suggest we start there. It covered a number of different countries, and it covered 2 days here at Global Chamber. And Nihi Sanusi, when you came up with this idea of putting this conference together, talking about the business opportunities and the legal aspects of investment in particular and doing business across particularly Southern Africa. It was a great idea. It was an extraordinary group of people who you had assembled, including Jeff Darr on the US side, but people from all over Africa. So thank you so much for pulling that together. Could you give us a little bit of a summary of what was discussed and what's the next step regarding those events?
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Good afternoon, everyone from Lagos, Nigeria. Well, we have a platform. It's an African legal platform called the Africa Continental Legal Alliance. So what happened is that we brought quite a number of our colleagues from the Southern African region under the SADC community, that's the Southern Africa Development Community. And we had them talk to our participants about potential opportunities and also the frameworks, regulatory and so on, legal and so forth. With regard to each of their countries, we had, of course, Botswana in the house. We had representation also from Lesotho, Mozambique on the first day. The second day, of course, covered Zambia, Zimbabwe, and I believe we also had my colleague from Mozambique, I've said, and quite a number of others. We also talked about, we focused a lot on the investment and some of the specific areas of investments needed in places like Zambia, which is which is known primarily for copper. My colleague, I think Sandra, talked about that extensively. We had South Africa, of course, in the house, also discuss on the labor laws. Tareen and Mark did that, I think, on the second day. Yes, they were the third group on that day. And so they spoke extensively on labor laws and how that applies in the current state. One of the key things with regard to labor laws in Africa also has to do with remote workers. How do you handle that? How do you deal with labor laws which have not been domesticated with regard to remote workers? And so we had a very extensive discussion. Also, Mozambique has a huge growing energy industry. And recently, I think quite a number of gas field finds have made that an investment destination for a number of groups around the globe. And so we also had Dr. Manuel from Mozambique talk a bit about that, and so on. As I said, Botswana, we had Danny Goosen, and he spoke about the Botswana as an investment destination. So overall, I think the idea, what we have in mind, is to ensure that African countries bring are spotlighted in their unique ways. And so rather than looking at the continent as a generic one, in terms of Africa, there's this tendency to look at Africa as one huge country, whereas there are 54 countries in the entire continent. And so we started with the Southern Africa region. We expect that the engagement will focus onto other parts of the continent, West Africa, Eastern Africa, certainly Northern Africa, potentially as well Central Africa. So Southern Africa is the first, but we're engaging as well on other fronts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nihi. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts about the conference that we held and anything else?
Maybe not a question, but a request. If it's possible to, maybe not anything too in-depth, but a high-level report on some of the things that you just raised, so that as we're trying to join or justify our full participation within the Global Chamber community, I just have something to reference or some past events to just include in the holistic document, because since this is our first engagement and we intend on onboarding the service, I just need something to make the case a bit stronger.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll support Nihi, you there on that question. I know that sometime this week we have a blog post going up that about the conference. And so once that's up, we'll forward that to you. And that certainly should be helpful. And then Nihi, I don't know if you've written something up or not, but if you could add to that content. I know our team has been putting that together, but if you could take a look at that and add your additional comments, and particularly, in addition to just, summarizing, the next steps, I think are really important. Just generally, Global Chamber, we started in 525 chapters, and now we have 605 chapters. And across Africa, of the 67 main cities, we have 59 of them covered with a leader on our side, with the goal of, at the end of this year, having all of the major cities covered with a leader from Global Chamber to enable the kind of interaction and cross-border and cross-city activity that we know is going to rise and give rise to the not just prosperity, but just overall benefit. AFCFTA is a great platform, and we all know that that's having a positive impact. There's still a long way to go, and we have a long way to go. And so that's certainly one area. Nihi, are you okay with adding to that blog post, and then we'll pass that over to the ZIDA people?
Yes, definitely. If they would also like to, I'm sure they probably know Bridget in Zimbabwe already, Bridget Masusiri, or she knows them, of course. And I believe she referenced ZIDA in her discussion as well. So I have no problem adding to that, certainly, yes.
Tatenda, does that sound okay? Was there anything else we need to do?
No, thank you so much. But just on that note, we haven't, or I personally haven't managed to establish contact with Bridget. If it's possible after the meeting, if you could also just give me her contact details so that I could also engage her on that front, since she's your local rep here.
Okay, I'll find a way to connect with you. Maybe that will be done by Cesar, please. Thank you.
Very good. One way or another, we'll get that to you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. We're going to continue to go around the room. Thank you, Nihi. I'd like to make sure that we get to Nima Maleli. Her conference last month, just about a month ago, in Dar es Salaam, was coordinated with the president of Tanzania and Zanzibar and the trade minister of Tanzania. Nima, you were just amazing activity leading up to that, and all the extra hard work that you did to be able to pull that off. Last month, in this conversation, you gave a very fresh update on having just completed the successful conference. Could you give us an update, if you're able to, on how things are transpiring after that conference and what some of the next steps may be?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doug. Actually in Nairobi today. I came yesterday, and I think there's a lot that is coming up. The small dream that I had is becoming big. So I really thank God for it. Today I was meeting with the permanent secretaries here in Nairobi. Just in they were actually, I was invited because of Arctic, and they asked me the same question about the vision of Arctic and how are we progressing with it, and how was the experience with Tanzania, and now they want to collaborate. And there are a lot of countries coming up, and I think ATIC is going to be a bridge for governments and doing negotiations on behalf of African governments in the area of investment, and also opening up global trade. So there's a lot that is coming up, and I'm really excited. Then my next stop will be next month at the Global SME Summit in Switzerland, thanks to Global Chamber. I was connected by Cesar, and it has yielded. So I'm going to be among the speakers and representing African women and African SMEs. Thank you so much, Doc. And yeah, and another thing, I'm coming up with for Tanzania, we're coming up with, we're going to have our monthly webinars, and we'll be involving different ministries and investment areas. They're really, and also TCCIA, that's a
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we may have lost Nima, I believe.
We may have. She's still showing up, but we lost her. So I'm sure, hopefully she'll be back. Nima, if you can hear us, we cannot hear you. And and she did leave. And actually, Ruby left too. Okay, so so hopefully we can get to Ruby when she's back. Naidu, thank you for joining from Tanzania as well. Are you there in Dar es Salaam? Are you available to say hi? And if not, that's okay. Thank you for your emails, and thank you for your leadership, and thank you for working with Nima on the activities.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm here.
Thank you. Have you been able to connect up with Nima post the big conference?
I was there with her during the conference, and since then she is fairly busy, and I am going to schedule a time to meet with her soon.
Very good. Everything going okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for your emails, and looking forward to incorporating you into the leadership. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Really appreciate your long time involvement with Global Chamber. We'll continue to go around the room just as a time check and as a frame of reference. This meeting is intended to be 55 minutes. So it should stop at the top of the hour or at the bottom of the hour if you happen to be in India right now. The goal here is to get as many connections and get updates on a variety of different activities as we can. And one of the other extraordinary leaders on our team that's doing extraordinary work and kicking some great activities off for entrepreneurs and for women and young people is Titi Abisogun. She, because of some health issues within her family, is in London, and it is the summer, so that could be it as well. Normally, she's in Nigeria. She's our executive director there, and she's got so many different ideas and so many different initiatives, one of which is an initiative for young people that involves one of our key partners, Thunderbird School of Global Management, which has its headquarters in Africa in Nairobi. But we've got an initiative that TT, if you don't mind explaining as much as you feel comfortable with in terms of what's going on, what would you like to share, and how can we help you?
Okay, so let me move my camera back. Can you see me or no? I'm not sure if you can.
We can, yeah.
Oh, okay,
How are
good.
you? Good to see you. It's been a while.
It has, yes. Well, thank you, everyone. My name is Titi. So yeah, I am the ED for the Nigeria chapter. One of the amazing things we're doing, and I'm going to need all of your support, by the way, is to roll out a program. As Doug said, it's a program with Global Chamber and Thunderbird Business School together. It focuses on entrepreneurship. Why I'm excited is because we're focusing on the youth age gap. So that means 18 to 35. There are no education requirements that are explicit other than to be able to read and write. Therefore, we are motivating, we are encouraging, we're being extremely, entirely inclusive to say that, youth between the ages of 18 and 35, whether you're in a rural village or whether you're in a city, you can do that. You can embark on that program. So that's going to be a game changer. And I think as we roll out, as Nigeria will be the first country, but as we begin to roll out across Sub-Saharan Africa, North Africa, I'm going to need your help. So I'll be reaching out to you to be that platform, be that support pillar to, for example, just make noise, signpost, yeah? So that's what's been quite incredible. I've already got at least four different governments that are really saying we're excited. So again, it's about, and wherever these governments are, it's about your chapter, your chamber. So I want to leverage this opportunity to say to you that, we want to also build on our membership, because that is key, that is critical here as well. And work together, get your insights in regards to your country, nuances, like Lee said earlier, we've got to tailor every country differently. We've got different cultures embedded. So I'll be coming to you in the countries that I haven't worked in. I've already lived and worked in 5 West African countries, so I'm pretty okay there. Other than that, the Nigeria chapter, it should be officially launching, I would say, 1st of September. We've had to do restructure, remodel, and it'll be very exciting what we've done with this chapter, under Doug's leadership. And currently, we're going to have, Nigeria chapter will have its first webinar. The theme will be quite unique. It's an industry that we're all familiar with, and it's all about innovation. So again, I've already sent out a few memos in regards to digital construction, digital real estate, built environment, AI is an AI construction. And yeah, I've got some very nice UK government individuals that will be on the call. Obviously, because I'm born and raised here, but I've also got international people as well. So what I want from you all at the right time is I want to see representation from your country, because there's construction everywhere, but it's all about the next level. Where is construction going? So that's it from us now. I look forward to connecting with you all, meeting and dialoguing. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, TT. Anybody have any questions or thoughts for TT, please?
Yeah, I just have a comment. It's a great thing to have TT,
Oh gosh. Here you go.
TT is the kind of executive director that we need for Nigeria. Clearly, at this time, Nigeria can be likened to a sleeping giant, but with TT, none of us is going to sleep soon. She's very hardworking, and honestly, even I can't at times match her pace. So I really I'm grateful that she's put herself into this. And hopefully the dividend of this assignment will speak even more than I have said at the moment, So hopefully we'll look forward to seeing that those dividends come around. So thank you very much, Doug, for approving TT as our ED, and it's a good thing to be working with her at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Very kind, Nihi. Thank you. There's so much work to do, and at the end of the day, we all need to be continually inspired, because it does get frustrating. There are times when we hit walls, and progress doesn't happen often as much as you want. There's bursts of great stuff, like what Nima you did in Tanzania was spectacular, and watching you pull all that together over a couple months was just really, really inspiring. So thank you for that. It looks like you're back. Was there anything else, Nima, that you wanted to add to what you were saying? Welcome back. Or are you back? Maybe not. So if you can hear us.
No, I'm back.
Oh, there you
Yes,
are.
I'm back, and yeah, I just want to say congratulations, my sister. Titi is that person that will wake you up and say, Neema, please wake up. You're not doing this. And I really love the sister thing that we are having through Global Chamber. Is really you have someone who is encouraging you and pushing you. So this is not all about trade and opportunities, Dog. It's all about also a community, a family that it's keeping us alive. So Global Chamber is doing more than these meetings. It's outside, and the discussions that are continuing. I think it has given me a lot of opportunities that I'm really grateful for. So I'm really grateful for what Global Chamber is doing. And what I wanted to add is that I'll be also working with TT on her webinar from time to time. And Tanzania is coming with webinars also. We have Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, which is very impressed with what Global Chamber is doing and what we have done with ATIC. And we will be running the webinars with them, and the Tanzania investment, and also Zanzibar investment. And you never know, we might surprise with inviting the First Lady of Zanzibar in one of our webinars very soon.
Fantastic. That would be spectacular. Thank you very much. Let's keep going around the room. And you mentioned about women. We have a powerful team across Africa, the 54 countries. I'd say certainly you've met Titi, you've met Nima, and then Ruby was in the call for a while from Ghana, and she's the person that really started our activities in Africa, and she's as deeply connected in business in Ghana and West Africa as you can be. She's just an outstanding expert and supporter of the mentality that Africa can be an exporter, that young people can be educated and move forward to be able to be self-sufficient and create prosperity. And these are spectacular required activities for the future. So thank you, all three women, particularly kind of a cornerstone for us across Africa, along with the entire team. Tatenda, I want to make sure that we have time for you, and I also want to get to Ani, and I also will hopefully have some time at the end to have a few minutes for others to comment as well. Tatenda, would you? I saw a message come through, but I didn't see where that was, and so I don't know what you you communicated. Are you available to talk a little bit about Zimbabwe, please?
Yes, so unfortunately, I have an engagement at 4:30, which is about 3 minutes away, but I have a presentation prepared. So I'm just going to browse through it. I've sent my apologies that I'll be slightly delayed, and then I'm going to drop my email in the chat so that should
I'm
anyone
sorry.
want. No, it's okay. Should
I'm
anyone
sorry.
have any further questions or information that they require, or if we can schedule a follow-up meeting, based on what I've presented, then we can just take it up from there.
That's
So I'm just,
Thank you.
sorry.
I'm very sorry. Please
It's
go
okay.
ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Please just confirm if you can see it.
We can quite well.
Okay. So good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone. My name is Tatenda Jasi, and I'm an investment promotion officer at the Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency. And basically what our agency serves to do, working directly with the Office of the President, is to facilitate foreign direct and domestic direct investment into several sectors, and namely the priority sectors of the country, based on our national development strategy to get our country to an upper middle class economy by 2030. So I'm just going to give you an overview of Zimbabwe so that you can get an understanding of what we have to offer. Our population is currently at close to 17 million. Weather is about 95%. When we say 95% good, as in it's sunny, 95% of the year, exclusive of the rainy season, where the sun and the rain kind of compete for some attention. And then we have 33 million hectares of arable land. So this is land that you can either develop manufacturing opportunities or farming land as well. 90% accessibility based on our geological location within the SADC region. 90% of the bordering countries are accessible via, or should I say 90% of the road networks are developed to access the bordering countries via road network, and about 3,000 hours of sunshine. And then that just also just emphasizes the investment opportunities for solar or renewable energy, also based on our weather conditions. I'm going to jump next to Zimbabwe's investment climate, and this section highlights key attributes that define Zimbabwe's evolving and investor-centric climate. So some key points to take away, and I can also share this presentation for anyone who wants to keep it on record. But Zimbabwe's investment climate is stable. We are reforming certain policies, and one of them, or a key tagline that some of you might know of, is Zimbabwe is open for business. We have investor protection under the ZIDA Act, and basically this serves to protect investors from any policy instabilities and issues to do with repatriation of funds, as well as assist them to establish through a one-stop repatriation guarantees. I just touched on that. Ease of doing business speaks to the one-stop shop. And then there's fiscal and non-fiscal incentives for priority sectors. So depending on the sector of interest, there are different incentives that apply, both fiscal and non-fiscal. We're strategically located within the SADC region, and also access to regional markets through our memberships in SADC, AFCAFTA, and COMESA. So I'll just briefly go through the investment journey with ZIDA, and this speaks to the licensing aspect and how we are serving or facilitating and advocating for our investors here in Zimbabwe. I'll touch briefly on this. We were previously 3 different organizations, and then in 2019, they were basically joined into one, and this is what then formed the ZIDA Act itself. Just to streamline efficiency as well as avoid the duplication of job roles. So ZIDA's role and mandate, ZIDA exists to globally position Zimbabwe as an attractive and friendly investment destination, and through that increase domestic direct investment and foreign direct investment. So apart from promoting investments, protecting investments, we also facilitate the act of investment inflows coming into Zimbabwe. And then these are the stages of the licensing journey, which is the ZIDA license itself. So there's the pre-licensing, where you're looking for the investment, you're doing your research on Zim. We can actually offer some information on this in terms of research and sector reports. The licensing, when you've made a decision to come into Zimbabwe, the license itself is 4,500. And 500 for the registration. So in total, it's 5,000 US. The establishment, which is all the permits or any other issues that you might have when it comes to establishing, be it immigration, setting up or opening up your bank accounts, looking for a viable piece of land, everything that speaks to establishment, we assist to facilitate that. Aftercare, if you're facing any challenges or you wish to expand and you want assistance, we're there. And then monitoring and evaluation, where we're just basically ensuring that you've committed to what it is you've said that you're going to do within Zimbabwe. The role of the one-stop shop center, basically what I've highlighted to say, assistance with the establishment and the issuing of permits, as well as if you are facing any grievances or have any issues with policy changes that we can lobby for you to be exempted against. And these are the various government agencies and departments that are represented under ZIDA or who have secondees working closely with us. We have three types of investor licenses. The GI, which is the ZIDA license I just mentioned. ZIDA also facilitates the process of public-private partnerships. We do not own the projects. The projects are owned by the ministries, but what we do is we collaborate with the ministries to get them to a point where they can be pitched at cabinet level and then or recommend them to cabinet, and then the ultimate decision lies within the cabinet. And then we have the mandate to issue special economic zone licenses, as well as assist with the establishment of setting up a special economic zone. So anything to do with SEZs or the licensing of SEZs is also done by ZIDA. I'm going to skip through this slide because it namely speaks to the timelines for the investment license under the general investment, and just jump to our 5-point strategic plan, which is basically just highlighting everything that we want to do as an agency, or what we are mandated to do. Again, I'm so sorry that I'm rushing, but I will send this presentation through so that should anyone have any questions or seek or require clarification, I can then just respond to you or schedule a call outside this meeting. This was mainly speaking to our key investments in 2024, so a sectorial overview. I don't know if any of you have managed to visit Zimbabwe, but this is some development that's going on in Harare. We've experienced a huge jump in infrastructure development in the last 5 years under the second dispensation. So it is a sector that we're very excited to promote, and a lot of foreign players have come into play in. The sectorial highlights of 2024 in mining, real estate, construction, and manufacturing, which were our key sectors in terms of attracting the most investment. And these are the stats speaking to their GDP contribution over the years. The next slide just speaks to a recently set up manufacturing plant within an SEZ, just highlighting that we are on the move and we are really trying to promote and facilitate anything to do with the establishments of SEZs the best way that we can. This just speaks to the inflows in terms of projected or committed investment. And just a disclaimer here, projected investment is not actual investment inflows. It's what the investor details or tables when they apply for their license within their business plan. So sometimes these figures vary, and you'll also see the variance within our annual report if you ever get the chance to go through it. Our key sectors are namely energy, agriculture, high housing, infrastructure, rail, health, and tourism. These are the sectors that we're focusing on as an agency, as well as in the national development strategy, with infrastructure and health being, and energy, infrastructure, health, and energy weighing the most there. And in line with some of our innovations, we've recently launched an e-window portal, or the e-window project, and basically all the ministries that were highlighted earlier on that serve under the one-stop shop housed here at ZIDA, we will be able to digitally process and approve the licenses or the investment or the entire investment process, whereas previously what we had managed to digitize was the ZIDA license alone. But now through our establishing journey, we've managed to launch something that streamlines or also serves as a digital tool to enhance or speed the process up of establishment. And then we recently also launched an investor grievance resolution mechanisms that speaks to the rights of the investors, as well as in the event that you're facing any challenges that need to be escalated to the highest office, since we serve directly under OPC. Through ZIDA, whether you're a local investor or a foreign investor, you can channel whatever grievances you're facing with the respective ministries, departments and agencies within Zimbabwe, and we can escalate the issue in order to get it resolved the best way we can. So this just speaks to the QR code for the IGRM system. This speaks to the QR code for the website. And this speaks to the QR code for the licensing portal. Just to add on, in the licensing portal, when you are establishing your investment in Zim, we also assist with the company registration. And this is just done as you're applying for your license, and that takes about 72 hours. So everything is very streamlined, and we're trying to make it as fast as possible. I know some of our counterparts particularly in Zambia, have managed to narrow it down to about 48 hours to 72 hours, but we're still working with 5 working days for the entire process, including the license, including the company registration. And then this just speaks to our project brochure. This is a live document. So as and when we have additional bankable opportunities that have been identified by our business development unit, we are adding them continuously to this link. I could also share this link alongside the presentation for anyone who wants to scout for investment opportunities, or just maybe have an idea of how it is we are now packaging the opportunities within our prospectus, because our image or branding or the way that we are tabling our information has changed drastically between 2023 to date. And thank you so much for your time. That is the presentation on doing business in Zimbabwe. And I'm so sorry that I couldn't have been in this webinar for longer. But thank you so much for the opportunity to present. And I'm just looking forward to continuing to engage with the team, considering some of the highlights that have already been tabled in, and the fact that it seems like a very collaborative and, should I say, united community that will assist Zimbabwe as we are trying to execute this mandate.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the miscommunication on the time frame, and really appreciate you sharing, and we'll circle back. We've put your information in the chat area, the LinkedIn connection, and both for ZIDA and yourself. So thank you. Any other last comments that you'd like to make?
No, thank you so much, and please enjoy the rest of your call.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tatenda. Yeah, let's now go to Brooklyn. And so what does Brooklyn have to do with Africa? I think Annie's going to be telling us a little bit about that. She and I connected through a bit of a surprise at another event. And this is one of the fun things about global business, is you kind of never know what's going to happen and what connections happen. So here we are having a Women in Global Leadership event in Phoenix, Arizona, with Tracy Latham, who is an amazing woman, the smartest woman I think I've ever met on the manufacturing side of things, just brilliant. Multiple factories. She hosted this event, the 9th annual Women in Global Leadership event. We've been around for 10 years, and this is our second longest standing signature event, because it's inspiring. And she was a speaker in previous years, and she hosted this year with 3 extraordinary women, and there's always one man on the panel, and this one was moderated by Carol Colombo, and also had a keynote speaker by the most amazing global real estate leader in the state of Arizona, and probably all of the Western US, Sharon Harper, and her leadership. And so she kicked the meeting off, and lo and behold, close to the end, it was a good crowd, and someone came up to me and said, "Hey, the ambassador of Kenya is here." I was like, "What?" And so sure enough, out of the Los Angeles consulate, and the ambassador for a variety of trade initiatives happened to be in Phoenix from LA, and she happened to find our event. And so we did an end of ceremony program with her, and she's extraordinary. And through that, I met Annie. So Annie, I don't know whether you two are connected, but I'm very happy that at least we were able to meet. And you're in my old hometown of New York and Brooklyn, and you're doing work with women in technology and with focus on Africa. Could you let us know a little bit more?
Sure. Thank you so much. The ambassador is actually one of our contacts for African women in technology. So
Awesome.
my name is Ani Akpe. I'm the founder of African Women in Technology. We've been around for over 10 years, and our initiative focuses in on developing women, whether they're doing a career track or an entrepreneurship track. So we do that through series of events, whether they're conferences, webinars, partnership, or even co-creating with some of the universities. So currently, we have AWIT Hub, which is AWIT Hub, HUB.com. That is where we pretty much host all of our digital classes, whether we're teaching about blockchain or we're teaching financial literacy, or bringing in an experienced entrepreneur to educate the women on how they got started. We just launched our online hub about maybe 3 months ago for African women in tech. But for the most part, we have gone to Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, Uganda, and also have done other partnerships throughout the continent. We have a community of over 8,000 women. And for the most part, we are now doing more things more in the digital space. That's one of our products. Did you want me to go into our other that we're launching soon, the student edition?
Sure, please go ahead.
Sure. So our next segment that we're launching is actually going to go live September 1st, is Lumo Hub. Lumo Hub has a focus on community-driven initiatives. So our mission is that we connect, we do education through creative industries, gig economy, and focus on entrepreneurship. So our core program, it is a hybrid, whether we're teaching digital, again, just like the hub that is AWIT Hub, or we're teaching in person. We have partnerships with universities. The 2 universities that we've signed MOUs with is currently in Nigeria. One is in Uyo and the other one is in Kenya. So far, and we have a third university in South Africa that we're working on a pipeline with. Essentially, Lumo Hub works on skills, gig skills development. So essentially, when we partner with the universities, we are training the students with the ability to land a gig economy job within 2 weeks of having some of the training skills. Others take a little bit more time, but you are able to see the immediate impact from the training that we offer on campus. On campus are advanced type classes. Within the digital space, we will offer free classes. So more like, think of it as like your YouTube university, where we will have various speakers that will focus on different topics throughout Africa, globally, that will come in and be able to teach the students. We're offering certification classes in partnership with the universities that we're with. That's one component. The other component is that we will have studios, and those studios look like a YouTube or a podcast studio. We will have t-shirt labs. We will have like a woodwork studio, and as well as an agriculture studio. What essentially that means for us is that we are going to develop out programs that the students could do, whether they're online or whether they're in person. So a lot of our segments would be created so that the students have a continuous role and they're actively involved. It's an initiative where it's always interactive in all the things that we're doing, whether you're creating something in a digital space, content, that content could be you, that content could be what you're showing in your community. It is a developed curriculum, so it allows us to monitor the direction that we're going. So if we're focusing in on creating YouTube content, that's one segment. Another segment would be we're developing out entrepreneurship training. So the whole hub participates. This isn't like one where we have students and this student is developing this and you're developing this. No, we're online. We are developing these companies together. We're essentially working together to build it out and come up with the idea. So it's essentially a plug and play, but it's for students in the communities, and communities can join, but students are the ones that are allowed to build businesses in partnership with the universities.
Fantastic. I thought you've been doing this for 10 years. What is the driving force for you on this? Why did you start it, and what keeps you going?
I started it essentially from going to events here in New York City where people are always asking me questions. I was in a banking sector. So being in banking is how do we get funding? All of those financial questions, where I was more in the residential component of banking and not necessarily commercial business side. But because I was getting those type of questions, then I said, okay, let me make it my point to connect the 2 sectors. So diaspora-based events was created in partnership with New York City, because I worked at Municipal Credit Union. So we had segment into New York City entrepreneurship programs. So I created events where you're building a business and that business has a focus here, but the goal was always to take the business to Africa. So that was prior to my doing African Women in Tech. The first 10 years, that dates my age. So many moons ago, I was hosting these events in New York City in partnership with the City of New York and also community organizations that were doing training and development. So it started out as developing people that wanted to do business entrepreneurship and then transitioned over to women organization and now more focus on students and just developing out the youth as we move forward.
Brilliant. Does anybody have any questions for Annie, please? TT, I was thinking of you in particular, but others, within our team of being connected along the way.
Yes, no, Annie, I'm excited. Well done. So exactly, with this new model that we have in regards to youth empowerment leadership, yeah, it will be great to talk to you, Annie. But also what I love is the community element. I think that's spot on. That's visionary, that's innovative, and just want to say thank you. So we'll connect afterwards, okay?
Awesome, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Does anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Annie, for sharing. And so we have about 5 more minutes. And so I'd just like to open up the floor for any comments and thoughts and conversation and any other lingering questions with some of the people that have spoken, or if you have something you'd like to announce. Dave, thank you for joining. And I need to follow up with you on something else, but I know you've got some activities in West Africa. So thanks for joining today. Moses, where are you today? And do you have any activities going on? Let us know.
Okay, yes. I'm in very, very cold and rainy Michigan today. But just wanted to share with you some information and just say that I started up a small company out in Kenya with some young folks, and we are proud to announce a landmark partnership between our organization and an institute in the Comoros to establish an aviation academy. So this will be the first in the Indian Ocean. They've had, for the most part, to travel to the mainland, so Tanzania, Kenya, and even Europe for aviation training, but they will have at least an initial awareness that we are providing now on the islands. So, it's a regional hub. It will be doing training, innovation, and workforce development. We just signed off with that institute this week. So this is very new, and I was looking for anybody from the Comoros because right now I'm really, really looking for partners and sponsors to help us move forward. I was thinking as you were talking, Doug, maybe Thunderbird would be a good candidate for this initiative, but we can talk about that later. So we've secured that foundational support, the institutional alignment, and as I said, we have the Academy. It's a launch pad for Africa's next generation of aviation leaders, and that's what I had to share.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Moses. Shalom Bako, are you there? Thank you for renewing your membership, Global Chamber. We've known you for so many years, and to watch your success. And every single day I think of you because every day I have a can of water that is hibiscus flavored. And if you ever want to get involved with the hibiscus business, Shalom Bako is the expert. And he's gone beyond that. He's a logistics expert now, and he's building out capabilities of building out a logistics network across Africa. You may not be able to speak today, but originally from Nigeria. Shalom, thank you for your capabilities and now exporting capability and logistics capabilities. There is Adeshina Adewumi is in the room, and Adeshina, we're just wrapping up the call, and I know we had connected, and you're connected to Titi as well with Trade Lenda. Is it possible to speak? And we only have like a minute or two. Are you able just to say hi?
Yes, I am. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're calling from. Great to be here. I'm calling in today from Nigeria, and I'm the CEO at Trade Lender. We facilitate trade across the global space, UK, Canada, US, from Africa, as well as also providing access to finance for MSMEs. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to learning more, and you're connected to Titi and I, and so we'd like to know more. Zazie, are you there? Zazie is our Global Chamber Executive Director in Estonia, but her e-commerce solutions and platform extend across Africa and the world. And so I don't know whether you can say hi. It looks like you unmuted. So what's going on in Estonia? What's going on in your world connected to Africa and beyond?
Thank you, Doug. Hello, everybody. Lovely to hear about everybody's progress, and all well deserved. I know everybody's working really hard to get where they're going. I won't keep everyone long. I think we're obviously about to launch the Global Chamber at the side of the world, and really looking to rewire global business, trade, culture, and digitization, actually, through visibility, trust, and transformation. And we look forward to pulling back the curtain, let's say, in September, in terms of what we've been doing, what's happening in Africa. We've got amazing insights to share, and I would like to, sorry, just to hit you with this, Doug, but I would like to propose that at some point we potentially have a Globinar where we invite people from different chapters in Africa to explore co-creation and how we can actually support each other's initiatives and discuss each other's kind of Globinar program and how we can work together, because I think we're all doing really interesting things from completely different perspectives. But ultimately, I think what we can do together is really special. So I'm not going to keep everyone right now, but look forward to sharing solid stuff with you by the end of the month.
Great, thank you. And I think that is a very important point, that a lot of our activities, and I'll close the room now because we're getting close to the top of the hour. I'll probably just have Cesar say a couple words at the end, but the concept of kind of how we've progressed, where we have events like this, where we share bits and pieces, and it's mainly for the purpose of, if you see 10 things, maybe 3 of them are particularly interesting, so you reach out. And so that's good. But then how do we take it to the next level in addition to that? I think there are ways, and your suggestion is certainly one. The Globby introduction and getting our AI tool out to everyone and being able to use that to be able to advance and to collaborate, I think, are going to be really essential. At the end of the day, there's 54 countries in Africa. The AFCFTA is a platform that allows them to come together, but work has to happen to come together. And I think we can play a role, especially if we think creatively and out of the box, to be able to not just meet each other, but to collaborate in different ways. And that probably is part of our next 10 years of finding ways to do that more effectively.
I was just going to say before you finish, Doug, I think that's the amazing opportunity that you and Cesar, by extension, have afforded us. But with a little bit of creativity, perhaps we can take it to the next level. It's not about what we're all doing individually in our different countries. I think that is the issue around the world. How can we break down those borders through Global Chamber and really put our heads together and share our ideas and co-create, like I said. But thanks for that, and hope everybody has a lovely evening.
Cesar, any last comments?
Thank you, Doug, and thanks everyone for joining us today. I actually ran into another meeting, but I wanted to just comment on Globby and our new CRM. And so that's something that we're really focusing on. with the end goal of having all of you interacting without our intervention, or at least with our minimal intervention. So we're gonna be sharing. We started with our executive directors and global advisors, but eventually to all members, we're gonna be sharing some forms to update their information, and with the idea that Globby can pick that up and make recommendations and all that. So that's where we are at. Thanks everyone for attending today.
Thanks everyone. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.